The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Martine Wishmayer from General Bytes,
Hey, hey, hey!
Josh Gagala from TheStandard.io,
Evening, Gav.
and I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to Issue 1. Issue 1. Elon Musk's Twitter bid faces major skepticism on Wall Street. Elon Musk has threatened to buy Twitter at a premium of 18%, and the stock traded lower. Musk didn't say how the deal would be financed or who he would turn to help. Stifel analysts downgraded the stock now that the company in the midst of a full-blown Elon circus. Martine Wishmayer, should Elon Musk buy Twitter? Will it be good for Twitter and Bitcoin?
No, please, no, period, no. Besides, he doesn't even have the money to pay for this. He's got like 12 billion in cash, the rest is in stocks. So it's great he offers to pay $42 billion for it. But he doesn't. He's like, no, he doesn't have that kind of money. I really dislike these narcissistic tweets that he makes, but that's personal. No, he will not buy it. The Twitter shareholders will not agree. It's just more Elon. So that's just nothing to see here. Let's move on.
Tesla shareholders are afraid that Elon would sell shares of Tesla to buy Twitter. Josh Shigala, many are also looking for perhaps a quote-unquote free speech or unlimited free speech to return if Elon Musk bought Twitter. Would he reinstate Trump? Would he reinstate other Nazis? Would it be a free-for-all on Twitter? And would this be good, Josh Shigala?
Wow. And other Nazis. Come on, buy it. I'm totally looking forward to it. Twitter's a shithole of a place anyway. It just needs some action. It's super fun. I've been eating popcorn all the way. It's so funny. People are like, ooh, but he didn't take the board seat. And I'm like, yeah, that's because he wants to buy more. And sure enough, 2 days later, he wants to buy the whole lot. I think it's good. Although I think fundamentally there's a problem. Like free speech is really, really important. And I think we can all agree free speech is important. And the thing is that you can't really say, oh, let's all go to Getter or let's go here or there, because eventually those places will be locked down or kick out the left or kick out the right or kick out like this cancel culture has got there's a problem there, right? So I don't think the answer is just finding the echo chamber that you resonate in. It's about like finding a space where all voices can be heard, where you can start to make up your mind and get some different opinions. It's really, really important. But it also comes with, manipulation, and there's all sorts of things that, bots. And as we get into like what you can see GPT-3 doing, it's stunning what AI is going to come up with next. So it's an amazing chessboard that's rolling out at the moment, and the pieces are getting laid. But the key here really is censorship. That people say we hate censorship. You need a little bit of censorship. Sorry, but there's people cutting off kids' heads out there ready to put those images online. Like there's evil freaks, out in this world. And so I don't want to see that, and I don't want my kids to see certain stuff. And so this is a really interesting always thing. Some would say, okay, well, you got to keep it to legal, illegal, but it's the entire web. In some countries, something's legal, something's not illegal. So in some countries, drugs are illegal, some countries not. So it's a very, very difficult question. And I think Nostar is, we brought this up in the chat with Fiat Jeff and what Ben Ark are building at Nostar there. And it's really, really interesting. And how they deal with it is to say, look, we tie certain servers together that have a certain rule set, and you can stick in there. But I am still afraid that you'll get echo chambers and radicalization because they're just hearing the same thing over and over. And so, yeah, you definitely want to continue hearing the other side, challenging yourself, challenging the narrative, because whoever owns the narrative owns your mind. Believe it or not, even if you think you're a free thinker, actually, you've been fed. It's, you are what you eat, and that's why they call it a feed, a news feed. So just be careful with that.
I think Elon Musk might find that it's more fun to play the game of Monopoly than to own the game. We're joined by a special panelist, Dan Eve, the crypto raptor. Your thoughts on Elon Musk maybe buying Twitter?
Well, I think there's obviously there's a lot of people that don't like the idea. A lot of them, are the people that kind of like the extreme censorship that's happening, which does seem to be a little one side politically. That's anecdotally, but ultimately, it's a bit of a straw man that just because he wants to open up free speech, it's not like he's saying, right, I'm gonna let anyone say anything. There's going to be extreme gore and people can say racist, nasty stuff. That's going to be censored and be policed, Twitter policed, as it would normally, right? Because it's general hate speech. But they're just disagreeing with certain things, which seems to get people banned, or really, stuff that's kind of pretty innocuous politically, but just other side doesn't like it. And they have an army of reporters. That's the sort of thing that I think is bad. And I think even what's bad now is the ability to just hide any reply that you don't like to a tweet, even if it's from someone like on your side, because all you're doing is, again, going talk about that echo chamber. You're taking away the reasonable critique of what someone's saying. And if you just have the same ideas bouncing around, then it leads to extreme. Funnily enough, it leads to extremes. Well, that's what happens, because you have this like snowball effect of people agreeing with each other without anyone actually disagreeing, and it literally spirals down into a pit of funnily enough, some of the stuff turns into hatred. Even if it's meant to be a nice thing, it turns into hatred of the opposition when it should be reasonable, I think. I think also that Elon buying Twitter would probably be a bit better for Bitcoin. It doesn't seem like is it Parag, the current CEO? He's not kind of overly public about Bitcoin. So I think that obviously the difference is that Elon very much is. So I think that would be very much positive for cryptocurrency. But ultimately, it's just I don't know. There's no point in having a debate if everyone agrees with you, right? Like, everyone loves having a bit of a debate, but if you have one where everyone's just going yeah, like, it becomes a bit boring. You like a bit of difference in a bit of variety in there, not just kind of like the echoes of yes and echoes of no only. So I think it would be a positive thing, and I don't think it's as extreme as he's just going to allow hatred to kind of permeate the social membrane of Twitter. I think it's a bit less sadistic than that. What his plans would be.
Well, if there's anyone we can trust, it's the guy sending all of our resources to Mars. I trust that guy. Let's go to the exit question. Forced prediction, 2-part question. Get ready for it. Will Elon Musk buy Twitter, yes or no? And does Elon Musk really want to buy Twitter? Martin Wismayer.
I don't think he'll buy it, simply because he doesn't have the money right now, especially not for that offer. And sorry, now I already forgot the second part. I've said 2 parts questions are really hard.
Does he really want to buy it?
Elon, in a way, is a bit of a attention whore. I know, because I recognize it. He just wants to have attention. It doesn't matter what the attention is. In this case, He wants attention, so he just spouts off and says, I want to buy the Twitter sphere, and I'll just pay this amount for it. And then it will be copy-pasted all over the news. So yeah, he's probably going, look how many likes I got today. And then it's like, move on. He's not even serious about it. No.
He's poor and he's not serious. Josh Agala, will Elon buy it? Does he even really want to? You're muted. Good.
I actually think it will. I do think he has the money. I think he can. He doesn't need to have the cash. You can build instruments out of the assets that you have, and just
financing, baby, financing.
You can collateralize the shares in Tesla. There's all sorts of stuff. People will take your money and give you a loan. But yeah, I think it will. And you know, why not? Let's see it.
Unleash the beast. Elon buys Twitter. Dan, Eve, you're the final and deciding vote. Will he buy it? Does he really want to buy it?
I'll be honest. I'd like him to, because I think it would actually be positive from the direction it's currently going in. To be honest, it's just becoming too much of a bit echoey chambery. But it does seem like it's not going to happen. On the one of the biggest investors, the Prince. What's his name? Prince Alawaleed bin Talal, Saudi guy, didn't like the offer. So maybe he's just going to hardball it and be like, you know, I want something like $70 a share. But yeah,
as long as it's got 420 in it.
Hey, well, there you go. That's the magic price. 42.0, maybe.
We all know that the Saudis are hands down supporters of journalism. Real hands-off supporters, yeah.
Hey, well, you know, the thing is, like, you read that article from MSN, which is owned by Microsoft. Like, the thing is, we're living, we in the 30s, 40s, 50s, we had 3 channels all force-feeding us information. At least now we've got a whole bunch of noise. It's a little bit better, I think, than having being forced to have 3, but the trouble is the major networks are still owned by these tech giants, and it's just not good. And not to say that Elon doesn't actually help that, but it's all about stemming narrative a little bit, having some sort of open debate.
I think Elon will not buy Twitter. I think he could get the money, but it'll be a disaster. I think he doesn't want to buy Twitter. I think he's doing it to stir the pot, to get more excitement and adventure around his boring companies, like the Boring Company. Moving on to issue 2. El Salvador arrests 10,000 people in 2 weeks in a gang crackdown. Yes, they're just arresting everyone who looks like a gang member. All tattoos are welcome. It's chaos in El Salvador, and unfortunately, ad city. Unfortunately, the president of El Salvador, the CEO of Bitcoin, Nayib Bukele, canceled his Bitcoin 22 conference appearance after declaring what some are calling martial law in the country. Josh Shigala, being a dictator of a country with a hardcore gang problem, arresting 10,000 people, yet unable to make your appearance at the Bitcoin conference where they even built a volcano in your honor. Is there any forgiving Nayib Bukele for missing this important event?
I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's like, it's always weird when countries start arresting people en masse, and just people go, oh, okay, the gangs, they're all gang. Like, how can you quickly determine if someone's a gang? Even if they've got tattoos, they might be like, no, I've left that life alone. I promise I've left that life. No, you know, how are you going to? It's just tough. But you know, it's also
we all know you got to keep them on the blockchain. If only these gangs had been properly identified on the blockchain, we could trust the blockchain as a source of truth.
Yeah, well, that's what they had, you know. She's still Jenny on the blockchain.
All right, let's go to Dan, Eve. your thoughts on El Salvador, the president. He missed his conference appearance. Obviously, many expected him to wear the familiar McDonald's uniform that the president of El Salvador has always worn back when they accepted dollars. But no, not at the conference at all. Complete no-show.
Yeah, well, it seems like not going was a natural. It had to be done, right? It was he couldn't have declared martial. Well, not martial law. I think there was a slightly different term, wasn't it? The Spanish term. It wasn't quite as hardcore. But he couldn't have possibly gone to a conference living it up whilst the country was sort of going through a huge event like this. It's obviously quite bad. They're holding people for 15 days, up to 15 days without charges, which is obviously pretty bad if you're not actually the person who is in the gang. If you've been
and imagine if you had tickets to the conference. You were held up to 15 days. It was only a 3-day conference. I mean,
yeah. Exactly. Think of all the suspected gang members that would have been at Bitcoin Miami, wearing Hawaiian suits and stuff. But no, I think it was necessary not to go. Unfortunately for him, I'm sure he sorely missed it and was sorely missed. There's probably a lot of people wanted to bump shoulders with the McDonald's wearing president. But they're trying to crack down on such a huge crime spree over there. Whether you kind of agree with it or not of how it's being done, everyone wants less crime, right? Everyone wants less crime and less murder. There's ways of going about it that gives people a bit more, it respects people's rights a bit more, and perhaps holding people without charges for 15 days is maybe just slightly overstepping the mark. But then it's the law of averages, not law of averages thing, right? It's like it's a bit of a shotgun approach.
It's the secret.
Well, when you think about it, what was the saying during all the COVID restrictions? If it saves just one life. Same principle kind of applies there.
It's atrocious that he missed his appointment here. A true tragedy. It reminds me, even back 7 years ago when I went to the Bitcoin Miami conference, the CEO of Paycoin came to the event with 2 giant bodyguards. They looked like world wrestlers. They were gigantic men. Of course, Paycoin was going to have a $20 floor that it would never fall below. Martin Wishmayer, you were in Miami. We didn't see the president anywhere. We looked for him everywhere. Apparently, he was busy arresting 10,000 people with no specific charges. Some of them may have had tattoos. Martin, what do you think about this? This is the kind of great service we get when we link Bitcoin up to a dictator. Kind of seems like the obvious thing. Like anyone could have predicted this. They would have been like, I read the Wikipedia article on that dictator. This is a bad deal for Bitcoin. But no, never thought of it.
People were disappointed. And I think Dan is right. If you declare some sort of emergency situation in your own country and you can't be just taking the jet to Miami and talk about Bitcoin bonds. There are some serious issues there. Even though it's hard to even imagine that just people have been taken off the streets and thrown into jail. I know have reports that some of them innocent, and it's primarily concentrated in the poor areas of town. So it's really what's projected as a criminal problem is really more like a social problem that I've read. So, what is the right solution to this? I don't know. Before the show, I just called up some friends who are currently in El Salvador because Bitcoin. And they said, they don't notice anything. The general impression from the people on the street is that, if it helps reduce gang-related extortion, then it might really help the smaller shops. Some of them are paying up to 30% to gangs just for protection. Otherwise,
I'm paying more than that for my government.
Yes, maybe you should. Maybe that's
just saying.
Maybe that's why you're looking to
But
relocate.
you get so much more. The missiles are that much bigger. The service is that much better.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And you know what's been projected in the media in where we live as a full-out war on gangs is not so noticeable in El Salvador, unless you live in a really poverty-stricken area of town. And then, yes, then they come knocking at your door. And if you also have bad tattoos, you know, I think we all agree that really ugly and bad tattoos are a crime in itself. So it's good that something is happening. I don't know. I can't create a good informed opinion. I'm just saying that people that are there now don't notice this extreme violence and everything. And I don't know how else are they going to solve this problem. You know, this gangs have been ruling for decades, and it's like generation on generation of gang members, and it's not going to stop. They have to stop it, and I think the only way to do that is by force. But yes, do give them a good trial. You know, it's a bit. It will create other problems down the road otherwise.
Well, it's only a matter of time before we all move to Bitcoin City. I think the ball would agree with that. Forced prediction, exit question. The price of Bitcoin this time next week, higher or lower? Dan Eve, higher or lower?
Higher.
Josh Shigala.
Lower.
Martine Wishmayer.
To be honest, I haven't looked all day, but oh yeah, okay. No, we'll be a bit higher. I think we're just over 40,000 now. We'll probably higher. It will be
2 higher, 1 lower. Will the price be higher this time next week? Source of all truth and knowledge. As I see it, yes. As I see it, yes. The ball has spoken. Not financial advice, but just maybe. Maybe it is. Check out WCN Clips. We're up to 98 subscribers. We only need 2 more subscribers to break that big 100. You can check out all the great clips from this show on WCN Clips. Just Google WCN Clips.
Do it.
Issue 3, Strike announces Shopify integration partnerships with NCR, the National Cash Register Company, and Blackhawk, bringing Bitcoin Lightning payments to major merchants. They say it's here. Jack Mallers has brought it to you. Bitcoin Lightning integration all over the world. 7-Eleven, Walmart, maybe even McDonald's. Josh Shigala, is it here? Is the moment we've all been waiting for Bitcoin merchant adoption finally arrived?
Yeah, I think it's a huge step. I think it's a massive step. I really, really love it. I've got my Lightning Network top on. Of course, the thing is that why we're building the standard is because I do see the stuff happening on the ground, and really the payments. Like, I've run a Bitcoin only business since 2015. Had plenty of freelancers constantly working for us, Bitcoin freelancers, and slowly, I think it was probably like 2020, things started shifting, and the invoices started saying they want stablecoin, like they want Tether, or they want. I was like, why do you want Tether? Why would you want that? It's like, it's just so much easier to account for, because I send an invoice for USD, I get USD, or the standard we're doing every fiat. But the thing is, with they can then, once they've invoiced, they've done their tax, everything else, they can then buy Bitcoin or the speculative assets they want. It's really, really difficult. So I think what really needs to happen to get mainstream adoption is for more of the invoicing, and that the ability to iron out and ease the pain of the fluctuations, the volatility of Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin it's great for holding, right? And this is the problem as well, is that you've got this obsession with HODL in the Bitcoin space, but then you've got this obsession with, let's get everyone to accept it. Well, what is it? Which one do you want? You want a HODL, or do you want people to accept it as money? And so it's an interesting dilemma there. But I think stablecoins are really, really important space. The thing is, these centralized stablecoins are disgusting and you just don't want to touch them. So this is why what we're trying to build there and work with also with Lightning and work with what's happening in Ethereum space and stuff like that. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a good step. Bitcoin should be accepted everywhere. Nevertheless, no matter how volatile it is, I would still use it. I love the Lightning Network. I use it very often. And I'm very excited to see what Jack's doing. Jack Mallers, he's this young kid. He popped up with this great interface with Zap, and all of a sudden, like, he's everywhere and he's doing stuff. He's setting up El Salvador. He's doing this. He's setting up Shopify. Like, the kid's on fire, and good on him. He's like the new Bitcoin Jesus.
Dan Eve, are you ready to spend your Bitcoin again?
No, I've learned my mistake now after all these years. I should have never actually used it and spent it like everyone like was as custom in the beginning. I should have just hodled. But all part of the fun. The fact is that the more merchants that do accept it, the more it's seriously sort of more seriously taken as a currency, and not just that as well. But it's the icon that's out there. It's always cool when you go past a shop, even now, and you see a little Bitcoin icon there, or Lightning, next to the Visa thing. So I think that anything where you're putting Bitcoin in people's faces is a good thing. Although there's like they're using is it NCR? There's still like the shop would still decide whether they want to accept it, right? So it might be the same case that every terminal accepts American or can has the technology for American Express, but not every retailer chooses, even some of the biggest ones. So it's still on them whether they actually decide to take Bitcoin Lightning Bitcoin via Lightning as a payment method. But it's still like incredible nevertheless. Reference the stable coins. Wasn't there like a movement recently as well with Lightning Labs, who raised 70 million for stable coins. So using Taproot, Taro, they're trying to bring stable coins to Lightning, which will be like the cheapest stable coins to send, right? Because on Ethereum, sending USDC and USDT and BUSD and even on BSC network and Polygon, they're still quite, there's at least cents to the transaction, a couple of cents to a couple of dollars, and then some for Ethereum. So bringing stable coins to Lightning kind of does two things. One, it gives the retailer the ability to, as Josh said, have a kind of more an easier accounting life, because it's in USD, but also it at least shows again people that Lightning is accepted. So they're using Lightning technology. So it's being, whether people are transacting in Bitcoin, at least people are using the technology that stemmed from Bitcoin, and that's a cool thing.
Martine Wishmayer, we talk all the time how it's a chicken and an egg problem. People have to have Bitcoin and Lightning ready to spend, and the cash registers have to be ready to accept it. Are we there? If the cash registers accept it, will that solve the problem?
Yeah, well, personally, I'm still in an accumulation phase of Bitcoin. I'm not really like spending it anymore, because when I look in my old wallet and I scroll back to all those coffees I bought at the Bitcoin Embassy back in 2015 or something, they're all more than $100 each. So I paid more than $100 for a coffee that wasn't even good quality. So I learned my lesson there, and just like Dan. On the NCR cash app front, I tried installing this app several times, and it always says this app is not available in your country, so the effects will be limited to US companies with an NCR cash register. And I have a sort of deja vu here, because it's all been done before in the past. I don't know, 2014 or something. Bipay at the time partnered with Toshiba to add Bipay to all better Toshiba cash registers or point of sale systems. And what they could do is they would just enter their Bipay API key, and poof, it was set up. It took less than 5 minutes. Yet nobody enabled it. Maybe this time around it's different. It's no longer the geeky currency, and it's gradually going mainstream. So yes, it's a good idea. On the other hand, it remains to be seen what the real effect is here. As I said, the Cash App is only available in the US, not outside of the US. I think countries that would use Bitcoin as a payment system most don't have access to the Cash App. So yeah, my 2 cents on this.
Exit question: is this a bigger deal or a bigger announcement? Will it have long-lasting effect like a big deal, or was it just a really good announcement that made everyone at an already receptive crowd super excited? Josh Segala, a big deal or a big announcement?
Sorry. I've been doing this for years and I still forget the mute button. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. It's a bigger deal than, Bob's Corner Store now accepts Bitcoin, which used to be a big deal back in the day. But I always like the news of new retailers, especially big network effect retailers taking Bitcoin, Amazon or some big retailers. Shopify is a huge one. So I think it's great. Although Shopify has had just plugins that people could use to accept Bitcoin. So anyone that really was really interested in it could have done it before. But I don't know if they could have done Lightning yet. So maybe someone created a plugin. I'm not sure. Probably Ben Ark on LN Bits has something there. There's so many plugins in LN Bits. Check it out, guys. It's so amazing. I think it's good news. I think it's big news.
Dan, Eve, a big deal or a big announcement?
I think it's both, but I'm with Josh that it's good having the fact that something with already a huge network effect accepting Bitcoin, but it's not as cut and dry as just they're instantly going to have access to all of that. It's still going to be a slow giving sort of piece of news, if you know what I mean. Which is it's still good. At the end of the day, it's progress. It's still more retailers than less. Put it this way, it's better than the decision for them to say we're never accepting Bitcoin or Lightning. So it's obviously very good news, and it's obviously a huge amount of progress. So yeah, I think it's good overall. Very good.
I like it better when they say never first. It's more exciting when we win. Martine Wishmayer, is it a big deal or a big announcement?
I think it's more of a big announcement. It would be a big deal if multiple vendors or multiple gateways would have been included in the UNCR equipment. Strange thing is, 2 years ago, I contacted them to see if they would include it, and they weren't interested. So I think it's a bit of a marketing push from both sides. But yeah, I hope it's big news.
Hey, you know what's big news also? Bipay accepts Lightning now.
Yeah, it's like 7 years after it's been introduced.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, BitPay is no longer relevant in Europe. Do you know any shop that accepts BitPay? I don't. In Europe, they all use BTC Pay Server. They use a local version. Nobody uses BitPay. In the US, people still use BitPay. But outside of the US, nobody cares. They're totally irrelevant. I think the best product, by the way, the best product they ever released doesn't even have their name on it. And it's the BitPay Bitcoin 2020 Slipper. See? As somebody won it for me, and I didn't have to queue up, and it's a really good product. It allows you to walk around next to the pool, and it keeps your feet dry. It has little suction knobs on the bottom so you don't slip. It's the best product BitPay ever released. But I'm not really in there for their whole Bitcoin gateway thing. It's just irrelevant in Europe, at least.
Was it just one slipper, or did you get the pair?
No, they come as a pair, so you can put one on every foot you have. It's really fantastic.
You said a slipper, and I was like, oh man, that's what do you have to wear on the other foot, like a Veruca sock?
Proof of stake here. I have 2 slippers.
That is cool. That is cool. Love it.
He's ready to go. Also, Martin is right. It's a bigger announcement than it is a big deal. You have to opt in on the cash registers. They kind of implied that it would all work instantly. And again, no one's out there with Bitcoin in their wallet looking. It's a problem in search of a solution, or a solution in search of a problem. But you know who is a big deal? Jack Mallers at Strike. He made a great announcement, a great PR victory for his company. He got over whatever it is with the dictator. It doesn't matter if he's not there. Jack can make the news himself. He needs no dictator. So Jack, still a big deal. Moving on to the next issue, Miami Bitcoin Conference. I was there. Martin was there. Ben was there, but he's not here. So it's a lot like when he was there. It drew crypto crazies to the growing techno hub. There was Bitcoin mining underwater, under oil, with a jet engine to get the heat out of there. There was Bitcoin mining in a giant shipping container, ready to go, ready to boil the oceans of the world. There was also the castrated Bitcoin bull at Miami. Coincensus, they worry about the bull statue. As you can see here, the Transformers inspired techno bull. The author intended there to be some bull balls, but there ended up being none. The castrated bull, different than the Wall Street bull, clearly has balls. What do you guys think about the Bitcoin Miami conference? Is the castrated bull a perfect symbol for this conference that was full of finance guys and full of money, but full of very little Bitcoin revolution? Martin Wismayer, you were there. What about Bitcoin Miami 2022?
I really liked the event. I had a great time. It's partly because our show host, Thomas Hunt, was there, yes. And this castrated bull was a bit confusing. I thought it was like a transgender or gender neutral, or I didn't know the bull's pronoun. So it was really difficult. And I thought, if the bull has no balls, then isn't it a cow? But then, do cows have horns? I don't know. I'm a city kid. It really got me confused. But overall, I didn't see any of the talks. I must confess, I didn't. It's not that they didn't interest me. It's just that the expo was so massive, that there was so much to see, and there were many people to meet, and there were like NFTs. General Bytes had a booth there. Every trade had a booth there. We introduced a new ATM model, and it was good to directly measure response from both clients, but also from potential leads and just the general public, what they thought of the new machine, which is normally a little bit harder because you first have to like sell it and then place it in the wild. And then, as a manufacturer, you don't get the direct feedback. So for us, it was really good. I think I don't know whether we sold well. It usually takes a while to get like from a lead to a sale with Bitcoin ATMs, because there's lots of other things to sort out before you start a Bitcoin ATM business. Overall, I liked it. I really enjoyed the conference. The party afterwards, to my taste, the outside stage had not enough boom, 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 boom. There was just like bass. If I'm at the festival, I want I want to just bounce around, even if I don't dance. But that was inside, and there was Deadmau5 playing, and there were like thousands of people going wild. Actually, it was a good party, and next year we'll definitely be there again.
It was a great conference. Like Martin said, the exhibition was huge, especially having been to the smaller Bitcoin Miami conference 7 years ago, where we were in the Fillmore, and the exhibition was about 15 booths around the outside of the theater. It was more like a snack bar. This was like a CES level event. It was gigantic booths, gigantic companies giving away stuff, spinning wheels, all kinds of stuff. I agree with Martin. The Sound Money Festival was fantastic afterwards. Steve Aoki, Logic, and Deadmau5, and really great to get to see it up close and hang out with the Bitcoin people. It's great to see. Pete Rizzo came down off the stage, said hi to us. That was nice. Austin from the Life on Bitcoin movie, that was a total surprise to see him. We had a short interview. We got to see Ben a couple of times. Ben was very busy with a full staff of students, much like Bitcoin Jesus with his apostles, teaching them about Lightning point of sale devices and vending machines that you do not shake. Don't shake that vending machine. It was also great to see Christian, MZ, Constantine, all the Bitcoin crew in from Germany, all over the world to come to Bitcoin 2020. Adam Meister was there, Jeremy Gardner, Brock Pierce. Just great to see everybody, all the artists. I like the artist section. Martin, wasn't that a great section? They had kind of an art gallery in the middle of the thing with a lot of physical art. They had an NFT gallery right next to it. I enjoyed getting to meet the artists. Wasn't that a great part?
I like the art gallery thing. Yes, it is a welcome addition to the corporate noise that was surrounding it. I was personally a bit disappointed by the size of the small stage where, what's the Silk Road guy's mom had her talk. That was a bit disappointing. I would really have liked to see her get a larger audience. She has a story to tell, and but other than that, I wasn't that interested in the NFTs, but I know you almost spent your inheritance or your retirement funds on the NFTs, but I managed to take it easy. I did like a lot of the art. It wasn't just NFTs because personally, I'm not really a fan of those, although they looked really cool. The animations were just super, super nice. And I've seen lots of different art, met the artists. I find they usually are very interesting to meet because they got a totally different view on it. And it's something that's very underrated in our Bitcoin community, is that large part of where Bitcoin is today is because of the people making art and making rap music videos about Bitcoin. And it is the counterculture. It's from the people. So it has to be made by the people and not just the tech geeks that like to code in their basements, but also the artists and everyone. So it was really good. I think it absolutely must have part on any Bitcoin conference. Really is an art section. I think and also the open source section where Ben was. I think that should be expanded to have more open source projects because there wasn't enough space on the tables for all the soldering irons they brought. There were like chips and 3D printed cases everywhere. It was really good to see it. It was so it was really a community thing, and it just felt good. For me, it was perfect, but some things can be bigger next year.
Well, yeah, there was a separate article in Coinbase that we should really celebrate. I didn't get the link here, but it talked entirely about the open source stage, saying that was the best part of the conference, that the developers had short speeches. They were all impassioned. They believed in what they were doing, what they were saying. And then right outside of that, Ben kind of had an open source area. But you're right, Martin, it would have been nice if Ben had a whole room or if he had more of a permanent thing. He had so many gadgets that he was building there, and that kind of hands-on learning gadgetry workshop is really lost in these larger conferences. Small critiques: they could have had food in the industry room, food in the industry section would have been a good idea. It's hard to get your food and get back to the event. It was at one point a very overstaffed or a very overattended event. It was full. It was 5 deep in everywhere. You couldn't talk to anybody. That was kind of a fail, but that was more of a peak. It went back down. I think Industry Day was the best day. They ran a really great conference overall, given the size, the number of people there, all the things going on. I think it was fantastic. Josh Segala, what was it like from the outside? Was the conference mentioned in the local news? Did you see it in the newspaper? Did you hear about the Bulls balls? What do you think about Bitcoin Miami from the outside?
I tell you what it was like. It was like being in Berlin in the winter and all your friends are back in Australia taking pictures at the beach in the sun with just get off my feed. I don't want to see all the fun. I don't want to see all the great projects and the open source stuff. I don't want to see it. I'm stuck over here. It was horrible. It was horrible. No, but I'm glad to see you guys had a great time. And it's good to see some of these big conferences back. COVID's really destroyed a lot of conferences over the last 2 years. And, I had to act like some sort of hypochondriac to just apply to go to one recently. And, it's just horrible. So it's really good. Miami is a great place for that. And a lot more personal responsibility involved rather than sort of communal crap. So yeah, it's good. I'm glad you guys all had fun, and I wish I was there.
Dan, Eve, you had your own special reason for skipping the conference. What was it like from the outside?
Despicable. It was awful watching everyone have fun in this fucking Bitcoin wonderland. I'm not going to lie, but it was out of principle because I didn't want to be in the same state as Death Santis. No, that's a joke. I think DeSantis is funny. He's really cool. But no, I was well, Joe. But I especially because last year I was like, I really sort of wanted to be there and couldn't be there. So hopefully I'll be there in March, if it's on March or whatever, March, April next year. That would be very, very lovely, especially to meet up with everyone next year as well from the Bitcoin group show, as well as many other cool people, as you said, like MZ and Co from Germany and all the general local sort of European conference goers, like hooking up with those guys in Miami would be awesome. So I'm very
There's always
sad.
blockchain life on Mallorca.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Mallorca blockchain days.
It's blockchain days. Yeah, it's going to be
end
great.
of July, I think. It was last year anyway. So
yeah.
So I think I'm definitely going to be there.
Make it across, guys. Make it across. It's super fun.
But on there, the thing with the it's not that it's it's not the fact that the ball doesn't have, if the ball didn't have balls because it was an accident, then they'd be like, they forgot to put the balls on, but they purposely removed them because they wanted to avoid feeding the gendered stereotypes about finance. It's a bull. Bulls have balls. It's like biology. Why are we rejecting biology? Bitcoin is like a fucking pure science based thing. It's maths. It's mathematics, and we're going right. It's like going. I don't know, E equals MC squared. We're going to change the MC part because someone was once got offended by an MC. So we can't use that term anymore. We've got to change the no. It's the science. It's maths. It's biology. It's whatever. You can't just. It's as ludicrous as saying, well, we're going to change from proof of work to proof of stake because it's better if it's better for the environment. Yeah, but it's no longer as secure. The whole point of proof of work is the security. You can't change the science around something just because you don't agree with it specifically. I think it's just a silly thing. Bulls have balls. Bulls have balls. So. Yeah, I don't know. Just really, really, really silly. If I were there, I would have seen the ball without its balls and flown straight home. So I'm glad I didn't go.
Well, that's the other thing is the balls in it's so funny when I first went to New York and you just see all these Asian people rubbing underneath, rubbing
oh my God, it's so big.
Rubbing the balls of the bull.
Wow.
Dan, Eve taking a hard stance. Bulls have balls. It's dedicated to it. But I do think it was a good metaphor for the conference, the way that it was kind of a finance conference now, not so much Bitcoin, a revolutionary asset for the unbanked and for the world, more like Bitcoin. How can you use Bitcoin to make money? And they had all kinds of great ideas of how their companies were going to take the Bitcoin from you. We have a bonus story on the Miami conference. We just can't stop covering it. Here it is in Forbes: guns, gains, and God. 4 days in Miami with crypto's most faithful plans. And what is this right here in the middle? It says, a man poses in a Bitcoin-themed art installation during the Bitcoin 22 conference at Miami Beach. Martine Wishbear, who is that? A man in the picture here in Forbes magazine.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the point in even giving your business card if they will describe you as a man?
Well, how dare they just, declare you a man with a beard?
I mean, really,
like that.
I'm my pronouns are bro, bruh, and I want to be respected as such.
bruh.
Yeah, bro, bruh. So it could.
Well, and for the people that didn't attend the Miami conference, we have to give you an idea of what it was like to hang out with Martin during this conference. Everywhere he goes, he's wearing this Miami jacket, and everyone from Bitcoin conference people, people at booths, people on the street, homeless people, drug dealers, everybody complimented him on this jacket. So it was like the jacket of infinite compliments. And even the media here, Forbes magazine, giving a man the highest compliment, but not quite naming that said man.
Yes,
I think that's one of the most beautiful jackets I've ever seen. I think
it could have been worse. They could have been, say, unidentified older man. And that would really piss me off, but it's just a man.
What if they'd have said Bitcoin bro? Like a Bitcoin bro poses in a Bitcoin themed.
The jacket was definitely worth it. The website said 100% polyester, 200% amazing, and it sold me on the 200% amazing. I didn't realize at the time that 100% polyester would be so bloody hot in Miami, but it worked. I had it quick hand steam on the second day, so I could wear it for the conference. But yeah, definitely worth every penny.
Beautiful.
Yes, the jacket was indeed the hit. Josh Shigala, what do you think about the rest of the article? Some groups have written a book called Bitcoin and God. They had a special Bitcoin and God convention where it seems like they mainly networked with other members of the Bitcoin and God faction. Is adding more restrictions to Bitcoin, such as only eating meat, never eating seed oil, only believing in one God, is this going to be successful? Are we really going to get new Bitcoiners with this kind of secular attitude?
No, it's an interesting take on what I'm seeing in general in the zeitgeist of humanity at the moment, with everyone saying, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm, and you go to declare what your gender is, and there's about 15 different variants that you can choose from now. And it's like, all you're doing is splitting people further and further apart. It's this sort of dichotomy of trying to say everyone's equal, but no one's equal because everyone's in these groups. Anyway, to be honest, I haven't read the article. So just like Twitter gives the warnings when retweeting without reading the article, I'm going to give the same warning to folks that I haven't read that yet.
Thomas, on the religion part, I think there is a point to be made because a while back we thought maybe create a church and then call it the Church of Nakamoto, because then everything is tax-free, just purely for the sake of tax. If you create a church, everything is tax-free. And then, the only thing the churchgoers or the followers of that religion have to do is just promise you will guard your private keys. And that's it.
Yeah.
You are officially a minister of our church because you guard your private keys. And then, tax-free. It's like...
Just ask Ronald Hubbard about that one.
Yeah.
Now you see that
exactly
that seems useful. That seems like a useful Bitcoin religion. I'm not so sure about this other Bitcoin religion.
Yeah, you have a point there.
Dan, Eve, what do you think? What about guns? Do you need a gun to be a true Bitcoiner?
I suppose the way you could kind of.
I mean, other than these guns right here.
Oh yeah. I suppose it happens in anything, right? That you start off with just like a fan club of something, and then you start off with like, the carnivore fans and the so-and-so fans and the holy fans. It does happen in a lot of other stuff, whether it's I don't know. It's a bit, to me, it's a bit of an oxymoron, like Bitcoin and God, because again, it's kind of Bitcoin and so I'm not saying no offense, but I just don't believe in God, and because of science. And so to get something again, this this science thing, but build balls, balls with balls and stuff like that. And so it just seems a bit peculiar to me that got I don't know, it's God's a very interesting thing. But people have their own special little clubs, and it's really really cool. Maybe have a carnival. Maybe if they have like the carnival dinner where you have to pay extra to sit next to someone, like at the holy Bitcoin dinner, you have to pay extra to sit next to God. But everyone sat next to God because he's everywhere.
In the beginning of Bitcoin, it was all sort of libertarian types, and there was a very strong philosophy on liberty. And then slowly bankers came in, and regulators, and then moon boys and girls, and you just constantly had these new groups. And now it's a mishmash of it's truly mainstream. I mean, you guys saw it at the Bitcoin 2022. There's a lot of people, all walks of life, all sexes, all religions, all colors and creed. So I don't buy that we need to keep separating into different groups. And
I think we all agree that having guns protects our private keys, right?
Well, it does against the wrench attack, and that's
not from water, oceans, lakes. Still very threatening to your private keys. There could be a boating accident at any time. You could even be just swimming on the beach. I like what Dan said, that it's purely a science thing. That's good to know. And also, I'm reminded of the interesting part where America puts "In God We Trust" on the money during the anti-communism. They also put the line into the Pledge of Allegiance around the same time. So to fight communism, they have this God forced upon them. I wonder now about forcing a God on a clearly agnostic, if anything, libertarian project like Bitcoin that really wouldn't care. Like, Bitcoin really doesn't have anybody's face, not even the Queen or Satoshi or Dorian Satoshi stamped on the coins. It's that generic Bitcoin B that Satoshi gave us as well. So I think I like Martine's idea of the Church of Nakamoto better than this kind of attempt to tie it into Christian religion. But I haven't read the book yet, so maybe it would change everything. Maybe I'd have an awakening, a spiritual awakening. No, maybe not. Moving on to the next issue. This is a special issue, NFT issue, bought for $2.9 million. The NFT of Jack Dorsey, pictured here. His first tweet was on auction recently. They expected it to go for maybe $48 million. The highest bid was $240. Josh Shigala, what about this #1 tweet selling for #1 nothing? Is this a big warning to NFT holders such as CryptoPunks who may have life-changing money, dozens of Ethereum that they could take now or get an offer for $240?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got a video on from me in 2011 on YouTube going, Bitcoin is not a tulip bubble, or something like that, right? And because that was the constant thing that everyone went on about. Bitcoin's a tulip bubble. It's a tulip bubble. Like, and that talks about the tulips in back in the day, where in Holland they started trading apparently castles and huge estates for single tulips because they were so beautiful, and it just had a fever. And it was always like, it's not a tulip bubble. It's totally not, because there's 21 million. Like, that's all there will ever be. It's not. Whereas NFTs can literally be a tulip bubble because, well, it is, because there's infinite amount of them. They're not finite. They look pretty. Some look better than others. They're trading. There's a fervor. I'm not saying that they're worthless. I'm not saying that the concept's worthless. I'm just saying that the amount of fever behind this is crazy. And when something sells for more than and you can actually, if you step back for a second and have a look at the collectible markets and see what real collectibles go for, like something that's actually rare by a famous person or a famous group or something. Or I think like the very first Playboy magazine signed by Hugh Hefner, like edition 1, in perfect mint condition, was like, I don't know, I don't even know. I'm not a collector of things, but I sort of read an article. It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 grand or something like that. And then I looked at some weird ape and saw it for 250 grand and thought that was created yesterday by a random computer generated algorithm. I thought, where is the value, guys? There is a bubble.
Josh, the value is that ape is smoking a cigar and the other apes are not. So therefore it's rare and therefore it's worth a lot of money.
That's true.
Well, and it'll happen fast, Josh. I'll tell you, just the other day, I had an NFT in my cart and I was thinking about it. It was around 2 Ethereum, which is around $6,000. And I was like, that's insane. I can't buy this collectible for $6,000. 10 minutes later, somebody else bought it. The market dries up. That collectible is worth about 4 Ethereum now. So who's the idiot, me or that guy? And it's all a question of whether or not he gets that sale for the 4.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying it's not a good deal in a moment in time. The guy that bought the tulip and sold it for 3 castles also said it was the best thing ever, right? It's the thought that why do you want this NFT? You can take a picture of it. You can have it on your phone without owning it. You're owning NFTs because you're owning the right to resell, and you've got something that's direct lineage back to the artist. And so what do you want to do? Because you have the right, you own the right to resell. You basically own the right to give it to someone that has the bag a little bit longer than you, and you're hoping that the energy and fashion moves all the time. So if you have something that's fashionable now, even Rembrandt and stuff, and Rembrandt's in a different league, but artists, they go in and out of fashion, and so you want to try and sell those bags while they're in the hot state. And some would say, well, Bitcoin's the same. It goes through hype cycles, and you've got to sell it when it's up and it's down. But it's a very interesting conversation, and I love it. But I do say that there is a massive tulip vibe to the whole NFT space.
Well, and Josh, sometimes you don't even get the right to own the NFT or to resell, like you're saying. Like, I think this Twitter guy could probably put it on t-shirts, right? But a lot of the other times you don't even get that. What you're really buying is a connection to the artist. You're buying the artist's signature, if you will. You're buying the provenance that you're connected to the artist. In this case, you're buying a piece of history. It's Jack's first tweet, presumably will never be NFT'd again. So you have the one of one to that tweet. Dan Eve, is this a tweet you need? $2.9 million. He wants 50. They said $240.
Well, I think, sorry, join my special guest here, Dave Grau. He's way up onto the table. Say hi, Dave Grau. You're so rude. You never say hi. Anyway,
hi, Dave.
So there's always the risk that it could be it could, with that Twitter one specifically, it can be deleted, right? And then where's the fun in that? Like, what if Jack Dorsey accidentally deletes it, or someone falls out with the new owners or CEO of Twitter or something like that? I don't know. Something crazy could happen, I suppose, but it's very unlikely. But I see the value in. I like the kind of NFTs with which have a function to them. That are used as like for an event, for example, like say for reselling tickets and making sure that if the band sells tickets and they sell an NFT is a ticket, and then if it gets resold on, at least the band gets to keep something, and if the ticket goes up, I think that's a really cool kind of idea. So I kind of like I'm maybe boring. I don't really understand art very well, and to be honest, I'm sour because I bought 10 4Guards and they're crap. I literally got the most average ones ever. I was like, I'm gonna jump in with one of these, like one of these things. I'll get in. There's the 9,999 generic thing, and I literally got them, and I was like, average. average. Oh Jesus! So I'm slightly sour on them. But no, I like the functional side. There's obviously some real cool stuff in terms of art that's being created, but yeah, I'm more of a functional guy, and I think that as Josh said, they're unlimited, right? There's you could just anyone can create this you've got like board turtle something club, there's board shark club, there's every animal you can think of, there's robots, there's I don't know, there's probably one for butt plugs, 10,000 butt plugs. I don't know. I'd probably buy one of those, actually. Not an actual butt plug. Why not? No, no, there's obviously anything. You could do anything. You could take, there's the mutant apes, which is another one. But one thing that is quite cool is that there's a lot of companies that are benefiting now. They're kind of piggybacking off of the success of Bored Ape Yacht Club. And they're saying, it's a very clever thing, this, right? They're saying, if you have a Bored Ape Yacht Club, NFT, then you can get some sort of discount or something on our platform or something extra on our platform. Now immediately you've got the community of the Bored Ape Yacht Club that are kind of behind it. There's a bit of a partnership there or whatever, but also they're clever because they've targeted extremely high net worth high net worth individuals who are, what they're $500,000 is the floor or something. So it's kind of pretty clever from that side. But yeah, I'm a boring function over form dude. So, NFTs are cool in principle, but yeah, the art stuff, I'm just really bad at picking art things that do good.
Well, yeah. I'm getting my Mount Gox NFT. How good is that?
Yeah. That's cool. I'll tell you what I would buy. I would buy the balls of a bull as an NFT.
I do like the idea of clubs. I'd like to see an Apple club soon. Martine Wishmayer, they want $2.9 million for the tweet, maybe upwards of 50. Are you buying? Jack's got quite the beard. He's a bearded man with a big tweet.
But Elon Musk will probably buy it. He will offer 41. And then
420.
Or 420. He will offer
and then wouldn't he be disappointed if he finds out all he gets is the tweet? You don't get the company, you just get a tweet. It's like when you buy that picture of something on eBay. This is not a graphics card. This is a picture of a graphics card.
He'll get the attention he desires so much. So yes, I don't think he would regret it. And 2.9 million is not that much, I think, for him. So he can just buy the tweet, I wanted to buy the company and all that I got was this lousy tweet, and he can print it on his t-shirts and then sell it. I think that would go well. Yeah.
So we're doing some interesting stuff with NFTs as well, that Dan was brought up about other ways of using NFTs. And so we're building these smart vaults where people can lock up collateral like Bitcoin and ETH and then mint themselves S-Euro. And S dollar and SDN, everything else will roll out after that. But if people can't pay off their loans that they borrowed from themselves, they can actually sell that collateralized debt position as an NFT. So it's also a really nice way, rather than saying, here, I'll send you my private key to my smart vault. So there are other really good use cases. And I've said it before, if in 2008, all these mortgage-backed securities were NFTs, we might not be in the same situation, because people would have seen that a lot of these mortgage-backed securities were just rubbish, because you can follow it through the blockchain and actually see what's inside of this stuff. And so there are really good use cases for NFTs. I just think art is the very first, and it's an interesting one, but I just I just find it so. I had to laugh my head off when the highest bid was $240 when the guy wanted millions.
I think this is just a failure of marketing. If they had hit the right CryptoPunk guy, he could sell his CryptoPunk. He could easily buy this, maybe not for 50, but if you bought it for 2 and you sell it for 10, it's not so bad. Let's move on to prediction. Martine, are you ready with a forced prediction? Tell us about the future.
Wait. Story of the week and then a prediction, right?
Nah, predictions first, then story of the week. Make it harder on people.
The future. No, I'll pass. You really got me off guard there. We always have a
Not
say.
ready for the future. Josh Shigala,
Uh,
are you ready for the future? We're running out of time.
Prediction is Elon Musk will buy Twitter. Trump will get his account back, and Putin will lose his account, but he's still got his account for some reason. It's a weird place, Twitter.
It sounds
Very
like
good
Back
point,
to the
yeah.
Future 2. Back to the Future 2, Josh Shigala is predicting. Dan, Eve, can we have a brighter version of the future? Maybe something with cowboys.
Was there a story of the week as well, or did
We'll do predictions,
that's a
then
separate?
we'll do story of the week.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
it's
prediction
separate.
is plain and simple. Someone is going to have, there will be within the next year, and it won't be me, although it might have to be in order to force my prediction true, but there will be a butt plug NFT series.
Martine, you got to follow the butt plug NFT. Do you have a prediction? Are you ready?
I'm passing on those butt plug NFTs, but I'll leave it to them to test them. So predictions, yeah, Josh has a point there with NFTs, potentially many use cases. Art is a bit overblown right now, but maybe we'll have NFT futures in the future, where you can actually invest in NFTs, art NFTs that are still to be created, because this is where the tulip bubble really went bust, because you could buy futures on tulip bulbs that were not yet created. So I think, the NFT market will continue to grow until the point hits where we will have Bored Ape futures. You can invest now, and then you get a Bored Ape in a few years down the line. So yeah.
If all you need is $50 billion to buy Twitter, I'll start a DAO and I'll buy Twitter and we'll NFT every single tweet on the platform. The minute that you create a tweet, we create a corresponding NFT that enters into the market. How many likes and retweet will your tweet get? Buy it now. Get the NFT version of that tweet, this tweet, every single tweet. $50 billion DAO, piece of cake. We'll have it done by lunchtime. All right, now it's time for Story of the Week. Martine, are you ready with a Story of the Week? I know you got big announcements.
Well, not as big as Dan's announcement, but we launched a new ATM on the Bitcoin 2022. We basically took all the feedback we collected over 8 years of manufacturing or 7 years of manufacturing and put them into one machine. And right now, the response has been really good. So it shows that when you listen to your customers, it will pay itself back. So, whatever you're doing, even if it's not got nothing to do with Bitcoin, make sure you always keep soliciting feedback from your customers and use that to improve your product. I think this is one of the most valuable lessons I've learned in the past weeks.
Wow, something a government has never done.
No, they don't. They just want your money.
No government ever has asked. I remember going to school and thinking, why? I go and buy a pizza, and the crappy, dodgy pizza store asked me, how's your service? Is there anything we could change? I go to school for 10 years or whatever it was when I was a kid. Not once did I get a card saying, hey, how are we doing? How are we doing here with this education system?
You got Chuck E. Cheese tokens back then, no? Chuck E. Cheese tokens, and now we have Bitcoin. So in a way, that's similar.
Josh Shigala, are you ready with a Story of the Week? Obviously, You're going to definitely top Dan's announcement. Everyone knows.
I'm definitely not going to top Dan's announcement. Guys, you got to stick around for that. This is an announcement of the announcement about to happen. This is CZ style announcement of announcement. No, or who was it? The Tron guy, Justin Tron. He was always doing announcements of announcements coming up. We did a lot of data analysis on why different stablecoins have failed before launching or just after launching, and usually it's liquidity. That was the main one. Didn't matter what pegging mechanism, it always failed if the liquidity depth wasn't there. And so we're releasing very, very soon. So it is kind of an announcement of an announcement. We're releasing very soon a paper that we've written for the standard.io and how we're launching deep liquidity, project deep liquidity. It's really, really cool, very, very interesting mechanics. definitely something to look out for. We'll be releasing that in the next week. We're just getting the last sign-offs from our tech team to make sure it's all possible.
Nice.
Over
Very
to you, Dan.
cool. And now you've seen the bull, you've seen the balls. Dan, Eve, story of the week.
So my story of the week was that, unbeknown to everyone, I was actually at Bitcoin Miami and I stole the bull's balls and was deported back to the UK, sadly. But no. So I became the second for the second time a father late Wednesday night. So yeah, that was part of the reason why I wasn't at Bitcoin Miami. So yeah, little Theo. He's a lovely little fella. But it's touch and go, very crazy. Like the like resuscitation machine and the umbilical cord was around his neck, and like when he was delivered, like they were literally pumping him, like because he wasn't like he wasn't like breathing, and he was literally purple as fuck. But no, he made it, and he's awesome. He's a cool little fella, and he's getting along really.
So good to hear, Dan.
Yeah, mummy's doing well, and yeah, so it was really happy.
Well done to the four of you.
Yeah.
No, I did nothing. I just was cheering in the background. Go, come on!
As long as they had the machine that goes bing, bing, bing.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
And I also managed to get my joke out, which is like the I've been waiting for the right time. Like there's like a slow clap, right? It had to have a right time, and so there's whilst we've been going to all the pregnancy stuff, like the meetings, their system is called Badger Notes, and I was like, they've definitely missed a trick there, because it should have been called Beaver Notes. The joke went. I tried it at the right time. It didn't go down as well as I hoped. Because it was a tense atmosphere, and I tried to cut it, but no, all good. I got the joke out in the end. That's the most important thing.
Timing is everything with those jokes.
Yeah. So then, when it didn't work, I started a slow clap, and that went down like a private, but like a ledger in the ocean.
And I'm sure the audience is glad you've named the baby Theo after Theo, the great popularizer of the rare Pepes, Theo Goodman.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. I think Josh was in the running. I don't know about Tom. I don't think we made the finals.
It was. Do you know what the decider was actually between Josh? Oh my god! There's two deciders. So the one decider was that we said to my son Hudson, we said, what, you're gonna have a new baby brother. Is it going to be Josh or Theo? And he went EO. So and then we only said it once, but then he started clicking about stuff around the house, like small baby grows, and we were like, they're not yours, they're your new brothers. And he went EO. So every time he saw like a little baby girl or something, he'd be EOs, and so that was really cute. And the other reason was that my mum said that apparently Josh means it's a swear word in Maltese. It's a yeah.
What?
So,
good to know.
Why wasn't I told about this?
That's probably why you have no.
I can't actually say it. Like,
that's why.
And
that's why everyone Will Smiths me every time I go to Malta.
It's because you're too damn tall, Josh. You're just too damn tall. That would have rubbed out on the baby. So, congratulations, Dan and Carrie, about the baby. It's great. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe down below. I had a great time at Bitcoin Miami 2022. Hope to see you at 2023. And like Josh said, Majorca Blockchain Day is coming up. Honey Badger in Latvia. We're going to be that much closer to Putin. Very exciting. Can't wait to go back to Latvia and Riga. And you can see Russia from their house. So it should be great. Until next time, bye.